I'm sure it was difficult to do that.
It was very difficult. You know, it was something that we didn't believe in. We didn't even want to use our yield, but it was a decision that we made.
I'm glad you didn't yield, guys.
I'm glad I didn't yield. I would have had to.
Do you guys need any more money? I'm serious.
You know what? If it comes down to that, Myrna, we'll ask.
No, I mean, we'll find a way. We'll find a way. At least take $20.
No,
just take $20. You might need it. One day I might need a favor from you. It's not a big deal. Come on. I might need something from you. If I'm desperate, I'll ask you.
I can't.
Why?
No, I feel bad about it.
Don't feel bad. You need it. Trust me. If Danny was here right now, I think you're an idiot.
I'm not going to tell Danny you gave me it.
If you don't need it, you give it back to me at the next fit. And don't tell Charlotte I gave you it.
No.
No, she would feel the same way. She would feel the same way. You might need it, and you guys did a lot for us yesterday. We owed you one.
You know what, and I wish we would have had this conversation before, because we probably would not have done what we did, but we were desperate, honestly. And I'm owning up to it. I mean, we were absolutely desperate.
Just look to the forward. You can't look to
I mean,
the
I
past.
felt like this small doing it, but then I thought about it, and it's like the whole scheme of things. We're so close to it, we can like taste it, you know.
I know.
It's just, thank you so much for that.
It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
Now we can enjoy Danny something.
Yeah.
I thought that was the thickness. I don't know.
But when you look at the guy cutting it, he's cutting it so thin that it's hardly like the blade is almost missing it each slice. It's so incredibly thin. I don't know how you could interpret that to be like a half an inch thick. So,
you cut it half an inch thick?
My slices were this thick the first time, and the second time they were slivers. I don't know, but obviously it was wrong, so just accept it and move on. If it wasn't wrong, we wouldn't have had to do it 3 times.
I don't know.
Just accept it and move on.
I'm accepting it, but I really don't. I didn't see a difference until now.
Okay.
I understand we did it wrong, but I wish the judge would actually speak to us and tell us like what he saw wrong. Because again, he was like weighing things too with his hands. I didn't know what he was doing.
It was so obvious. Just move on.
Okay.
It was wrong. Accept it. Move on.
It was wrong. Whatever. We're not all perfect like some people.
Okay, that's great. You need to accept when you do something wrong. Admit it.
It was
obviously
wrong. We did it again, and then you did it right. What's wrong with that?
I think she feels like, because I'm such a perfectionist, she feels like she can't measure up or something, and it upsets me because, like, I'm the kind of person when I make a mistake, I'll just say, I made a mistake, it was stupid, I did a stupid thing, I looked like a fool driving the car, it was an idiot, I couldn't figure it out. Fine, let's move on. Everybody makes mistakes, you just get past it. And I guess it upsets her to admit that she made a mistake. It just upsets her, and she doesn't want to. She puts on like a defensive side, and she doesn't want to say that. It's not a big deal. We made a mistake. We did it. We're still safe. Fine. The only thing is, like, when we make mistakes, I'm the kind of person I like to try to learn from the mistake that we made. So I like to, like, analyze what was the mistake we made. Okay, the mistake we made, we did not observe the demonstration well enough. If we ever have a circumstance where there's a demo, let's take the extra 2 minutes to observe the demo so we don't have to do the task 3 times. It's really just a difference in the way we think. For her, it's like really bad to admit you made a mistake. For me, it's like, okay, admit the mistake was made, learn from the mistake, and never let it happen again so we can move on and do a better job and win this race.
Absence of the good life on the race just reminds me of where I came from. My family immigrated into this country just like Oswald's family did, left everything behind, and we started with nothing. I am a firm believer that, you know, anybody can make $1 million. Either hard work or win on the Amazing Race, either way. The real ticket is when you lose that $1 million, when you spend it, is to make it again. And a person who has that kind of character, to make that kind of money one more time, will never be poor. You will always find a way to put food on the table and take care of yours. And that's basically how I see it. The race reminds me of that. And moments like these last couple of legs have really just, brought that back, those feelings that you had, where kids at school had the nice jeans, the label jeans, and you were in Wranglers, and a T-shirt, and you were the outcast, basically.
I mean, we both, when we got to this country, basically we were wearing clothes from the Salvation Army or clothes that the church donated to our family, or our relatives who were living in the States, donated to us. So we know what it's like to live, with 6 people in a 1-bedroom apartment. We know what it's like to, have to spend, your day to day. And being on the race and having the limitations that we have from a financial perspective, it's a very humbling experience.
Absolutely.
And it was even more humbling today when we had to make the decision that we did in order to be able to survive and stay in the race. I mean, we did have the choice to basically say, okay, we're going to walk away from the race because we don't have it. We can't do it. We didn't want to leave. I mean, we didn't want to give up. While we're not incredibly proud of what we did, we also don't think it was the worst thing we could have done to make those, funds back, because we used a tool that was provided to us by the race.
Oswald and I have spoken a lot about karma and the way we are. And I really do believe that today karma did play a role in our actions. It came back. It really just came back and slapped us in the face. Granted. We both have spoken about this today and realized that although karma did play a role in the number we came in today, we wouldn't have been able to come in without it. We're so grateful to still be in this race. And looking forward, we are so going to be very aggressive to make it happen and stay in it for the long run.
And one of the things that we have agreed as teammates is that while the decision that we made today was a necessary one, we do need to ask the universe for forgiveness, because it wasn't our best moment. And, we do need, as we move forward, to do it with the integrity that we know
will work for us.
Yeah. This is a PSA to the people in Macau. Please do away with all names in Portuguese on your streets. You do not use them. You don't know how to read them. You don't know what they are. They're just there to be confusing. We appreciate the differences in the culture. We appreciate how wonderful your country is. But please, I'm going to start a petition of 10,000 names to get rid of all names in Portuguese in this country. They are useless. Danny and I went for a detour that seemed fairly simple. Find the head of a dragon, find a drum, walk 3/4 miles to a lake. Fairly simple.
Yet understated.
Now, what we failed to recognize in the simplicity of this task is that we've entered into the twilight zone of Macau, where no names in Portuguese are ever used. And for that matter, I don't think they even understand Chinese or Cantonese.
And English is their third language.
So we've had quite a trying day, attempting to move the head of a dragon on a drum 3/4 miles to fit the head of a dragon on these little boats and give the drum to the person who guides the people. We're exhausted.
And I'd like to go on the record to say that my head said the number 2 on it.
And I'd like to go on the record by saying that if I never come back to Macau,
oh my God, where are
I
we?
am not going to regret.